on NTV.
Street Live in association with
Reham Cola. Taste it, believe it.
Amanya gange nze Kambugroland. Nsika delicious chapas on Mamble stage. Obuzibu bwensanze mulimu guno okusingira ddala okutwaliza awamu State Council. Okutwaliza awamu ebirungi byenfunyemu okusingira ddala ssente ezimpeerera. Kati bavubuka bannange omulimu guno si mubi nnyo okutwaliza awamu lwakuba ffe tugenda ne tugujerega. Olunaku bwe mba nga ebintu tebinyigiriza nnyo nyinza oyingiza emitwalo ng'ena.
Reham Cola. Taste it, believe it.
And the change of government won't stop a thing. I've run out of fingers counting the number of multinationals setting up here. What about the 3 companies that announced their plans to launch last week? I say they're shopping. Me, I'd be looking to sell. At what price? More. Much, much more.
I don't know who you are or how you know these things, but one thing I'm sure of, you're in the wrong job. Here, call me tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to hear more from you.
Are you ready for your big break? The East African, understanding the region.
NTV, turning on your world.
Good afternoon once again and a very warm welcome to NTV at 1. I am Joel Kamadi. We'll start right away with the headlines.
And we are asking Obama, please let the African breathe, let the African walk their walk.
The homosexuality debate, Kenyan MPs weigh in, start caucus to fight promotion of gay rights. And bomb explodes near Iranian embassy in Beirut. And Barcelona and PSG record away wins in the Champions League. Once again, a warm welcome to NTV at 1. Kenyan MPs have voiced their support for a move by President Yoweri Museveni to sign the anti-homosexuality bill into law. Their statements follow a confirmation from the president that he would sign the controversial bill into law. Now, when passed into law, those convicted of aggravated homosexuality face a life sentence.
Our attention has been drawn to the recent promotion of gay activities in Kenya and also in Africa in general. For instance, we have seen severally here in Nairobi, people going to hotels saying that they do support gayism. We have also seen demonstrations within Nairobi and also in Mombasa, people saying that they do support gayism. We have also seen situations where some writers have gone publicly saying that they are gays, and we have noted there is no action that is being taken by the government of Kenya. And also our attention has been drawn by today's Daily Nation newspaper, where Obama said that President Museveni should refrain from signing a newly enacted law which is restricting gays' rights in Uganda, and was saying if Museveni does sign, he is going to take a certain action which is unclear. So we want to say that we, Kenyan parliamentarians, we do not support gayism, and as a result of that, we have started a caucus here in Kenya that is going to fight gayism and also promotion of gayism in Kenya. We are also calling upon the Director of Public Prosecution and also the police to take action against any person in Kenya who is promoting gayism or who is doing gay acts. And there are several reasons why we do not support gayism here in Kenya. One, the present law, that is the Penal Act, Chapter 63 of the laws of Kenya, does make gayism illegal, going to be defeated. Another reason why we do not support gayism is that it is against the African traditions and our religious heritage. Some people mistake woman-to-woman marriage to gayism. It is not. You know, that was an arrangement where a barren woman would marry a fellow woman and they would sire children with men, not with women. But yes, I agree, some traditions may be discarded, but not this one. And it is not, we are not the only country that may support a law on the basis of tradition. In Britain, for instance, or even in Spain, or even in Netherlands, they do have the system of monarchy. Monarchy is very irrational, but they do support it merely on the basis that it's a traditional thing. So therefore, if they are supporting an irrational entity called monarchy in their country, which does not add any value to them, which just gobbles money for nothing, what is wrong with us supporting something that we feel is dear to our traditions? And we are telling President Museveni, please assent to that law. We do also state here categorically that we have formed a caucus here in Kenya. That caucus is going to coordinate all anti-gayism acts here in Kenya. We are going to mobilize our people to fight against gayism in the entire republic. We are also calling upon the police to arrest any person who is promoting gayism in Kenya. If the police does not do so, the law allows citizens to effect arrest. And that is exactly what we are going to do. We are going to do citizens arrest against gays.
When you say it's a human right, then I can say even a thief has a human right. It's like telling us, let somebody steal because he has a human right. We are telling them they are lost, and we don't want to get lost there. We know where they are, where they are heading. And we are asking Obama, please let the African breathe. Let the African walk their walk. He should concentrate in America, and whatever laws that they want to pass there, let them pass. If we go there, then we are comply by their regulation. If they come here, let them comply with the regulations that have been made by African countries. Because all they need is, they are trying to protect their people. When they come to Africa and they are gay, they are not arrested.
Now, since September last year, there has been a shortage of HIV testing kits in several health centers. Members of civil society organizations under the umbrella of the Uganda Coalition for Access to Essential Medicines are gravely concerned about this persistent stockouts.
We have scenarios where districts are instructed that the available testing kits must be reserved for only EMTCT mothers. So what about the youth? And remember that the president is spearheading a campaign on Know Your Status. How will this campaign be sustained if the government is not prioritizing this issue? It should strongly come out, and we are hoping that we'll have an engagement with the Ministry of Health, the Country Coordinating Committee, on how do we address this problem. We feel it zeroes down on the planning and the budget issue. Hopefully, me, I understand if there is a shortage, either there is no budget for it or it is a planning problem itself. So we are hoping as partners we will find a way of reaching out to Ministry of Health. We want to ask them basically 3 questions. How did we arrive at this situation? Do we know the implications of this shortage of testing kits? And what plans do they have in stock currently to address this empathy?
Now, the Pakistani consul to Uganda, His Excellency Boni Katatumba, has been evicted from the Black Lion's house. This piece of property has been one of others causing strife between Katatumba and city businessman Mukesh Shukla Shumuk. Katatumba had only a few days ago regained ownership of the building. Our court bailiffs have ordered that the building be closed, but no property has been removed.
We are not here to shoot. There's a court order. You are even carrying a gun. Officer, you are carrying a gun? And you are doing what? Look at this man. You are threatening the DPs again. You are threatening the DPs for what? Can you imagine? Imagine a policeman. What's not happening? What are you going to do?
You have been told to guard these people who are disturbing.
By the way, I'm telling you not to touch anything.
We are going to take a break, but NTV at 1 continue shortly.
Harris International Limited, the manufacturer of Reham Fantine, Reham Cola and Reham WhatsApp, informs every customer that the price of our 320 milliliter bottle has now been reduced from 1,000 to 800 shillings. Yes, for only 800 shillings, you can have a drink that's made for you. Remember, our 500 milliliter bottle is now only at 1,200 shillings. Reham, proudly Ugandan.
Shell Gas has a wide retail network throughout the country. The gas is now available by our efficient distributors at an affordable price.
Welcome back. Officials from 11 African countries that share the Nile Basin are set to meet in Kampala over the weekend to mark this year's Nile Basin Day. The Nile Basin Initiative is a regional intergovernmental partnership that will brainstorm on the management of water, agriculture, and other related resources in the Nile Basin.
The triangle of water, energy, and food security is an important element in the Nile Basin. Whereas the upstream countries from East Africa have the potential to exploit the Nile by generating hydropower dams, this is best done in cooperation with the downstream countries, which is captured in the theme for this year.
Water, energy, national challenges requiring transboundary solutions. We need to sit down together to avoid unilateral action on in utilization of a resource we all share. That's the theme. The nexus between water and energy has big challenges for transnational boundary resource which must require a transboundary solution.
The new cooperative agreement is yet to be signed by Egypt. The British had given Egypt almost exclusive rights over the Nile in 1929. Professor Ephraim Kamuntu gives this perspective and why the pact needed to change.
With sovereignty, with independence, countries wanted to renegotiate these agreements to bring into picture the fact that you are now, sovereignty means equal status of states. And consequently, no one country would have a monopoly on this resource.
Governments in the region are working with civil society organizations to iron out any possible disagreements and give necessary information to ordinary citizens in the Nile Basin.
The Nile Basin Discourse plays a very critical role of actually bringing together all the civil society organizations, consolidating their voice, their opinions, their feedbacks, and feeding it into the Nile Basin Initiative processes and programs. So the Nile Basin Discourse attends all the Nile Basin Initiative governance meetings, and through these meetings they are able to give feedback about what are the opinions of the civil society and the communities, and in return they get a lot of very valuable information that they feed back to the communities and to the civil society organizations.
Riparian countries cooperate on regional generation transmission projects and go for power trade. Actually, they will benefit a lot, and they, one can say that the share of the pie of every nation could increase, because there is this economic of scale, like even in those countries who have high generation potentials, the demand may not pick so fast. So having this regional market will encourage large hydropower development.
Constant interaction and cooperation is what is required to avoid potential conflicts between riparian states. One of the ways of bringing the countries together is through joint transboundary projects that can benefit the people.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development of Uganda is working with other regional partners, especially under the Nile Basin Initiative, to try and link the countries in the region electrically. So we have come up with a program of the interconnection of the Nile Basin countries to have transmission, electricity transmission wires running from one country, crossing the boundary, and linking to the neighboring countries.
GWP message should be to request government, stakeholders, water users, energy users to address the challenges related to water and energy security through the integration of water and energy security through the planning and budgeting processes. And of course, collaboration, because this issue have transboundary dimension. So the collaboration at the national transboundary level is really very important to address water and energy security issues.
The former United Nations Secretary General Boutros Ghali predicted that nations could potentially go to war not over oil or gas, but over transboundary water resource. Such a scenario is what the 11 countries that are in the Nile Basin are working hard to avoid.
On the international scene, at least 2 people were killed in blasts in the southern suburbs of Beirut, Lebanon, near an Iranian cultural center. We have the details.
The explosions hit about 50 meters apart in the Bar Hassan neighborhood today, killing 2 people and leaving at least 35 injured. Several vehicles could be seen ablaze, and the air was still thick with smoke. The targeted area was meters away from the Kuwait embassy and a few hundred meters from the Iranian embassy, which was hit by a bomb attack in November that killed 23 people and wounded dozens. There were no immediate details on the nature of the explosion, which sent a large plume of smoke over the area. Lebanese television crews at the scene broadcast footage of widespread destruction, with emergency teams carrying wounded people away from a charred street strewn with rubble. A wave of bombings allegedly linked to the war in neighboring Syria has struck Lebanon over the past few months, killing and wounding scores of people. Many have hit Shia areas of the capital. Iran is a major backer of Hezbollah, a Lebanese Shia armed group and political movement. Both are allies with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Syrian rebels have vowed to strike against Hezbollah in Lebanon in retaliation for its participation in the war. Elsewhere in Ukraine, embattled Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych has told opposition leaders they have crossed the limits after a night of violence in the capital Kiev left at least 25 people dead and many more injured, according to the health ministry.
We are tired of the authorities. They have to be removed, and that's why I'm here. I'm not afraid to be here. This is our destiny.
Even I am ready to go out on the front line, but as a woman, protesters won't allow me to get there. I'm staying here for the truth, for Ukraine. I lost my voice in this smoke, but I'm not scared, and people who stay here don't have fear.
Unrest broke out in Ukraine last year when Yanukovych rejected a free trade agreement with the European Union and opted for a $15 billion package of Russian credits and cheaper gas to support Ukraine's ailing economy in November. A number of Western countries, including the US and France, called for an end to the violence in Kiev and restraint by security forces.
International sports scene, Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain claimed impressive victories at Manchester City and Bayer Leverkusen respectively in the first legs of the Champions League last 16 ties last night.
Manchester City's Champions League ambitions look all but extinguished after Lionel Messi and Dani Alves gave Barcelona victory in the last 16 first leg at Etihad Stadium. Messi broke the deadlock from the spot in the 54th minute after he was fouled by City defender Martin Demichelis, who also was sent off for a challenge that was initially made outside the penalty area. And despite a defiant response from Manuel Pellegrini's side, Alves delivered what is surely the decisive blow when he exchanged passes with Neymar before sliding a cool finish under City keeper Joe Hart in the final minute. Meanwhile, Manchester City boss Manuel Pellegrini said Swedish referee Jonas Eriksson favored Barcelona in the Spanish side's 2-0 victory. Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored twice as Paris Saint-Germain took a huge step towards the Champions League quarter-finals with a convincing last 16 first-leg win over 10-man Bayer Leverkusen. Blaise Matuidi slid the ball under the goalkeeper Bernd Leno to give the visitors a third-minute lead. Ibrahimovic then scored a penalty and fired into the top corner from 20 yards within 3 first-half minutes.
Ibrahimovic! Oh, stunning! He found his A-game there, all right. And you can now say it is 99% all over.
Johan Cabaye side-footed into the top corner after Emir Spahic saw red. Ibrahimovic's 2 goals see him move ahead of Real Madrid's Cristiano Ronaldo to become the tournament's top scorer this season with a personal best 10 Champions League goals.
And that winds up NTV at 1 from the team behind the scenes. Have a lovely afternoon.
NTV, turning on your world.
I can smell that liquor on your breath.
Because I've been drinking.